away in a library in Stockholm, there's this book. It's the largest medieval manuscript in the entire world, officially known as the Codex Gigas, or Giant Book, but you probably know it by its much more famous and way more sinister name, the Devil's Bible. And the story of how it was made? Well, it's one of the craziest, most enduring legends to ever come out of the medieval world.
And a legend? Oh, it's pure medieval drama. The story goes that a 13th century monk broke his vows and was sentenced to be walled up alive. As you can imagine, he was pretty desperate. He makes this wild promise. I'll create a book with all human knowledge in it in just one night. Of course, he quickly realizes that's impossible. So he makes a pact, a deal with the devil himself, trading his eternal soul for a little help finishing the manuscript. But here's where the story starts to get a little shaky. You just have to look at the book itself. It weighs 165 pounds, that's 75 kilograms, and it stands 3 feet tall. We're talking about a massive object, bound in wood and leather, made from the skins of over 160 animals. So you have to ask yourself, could something this enormous really be made in a single night, even with a little supernatural assistance?
And that is the big question, right? That's what we're gonna dig into. We're gonna peel back all those centuries of myth, look at the actual hard evidence, and find out once and for all, is this some demonic artifact, or is it one of humanity's greatest masterpieces? Okay, so how do we crack this mystery? Well, we start by letting the book do the talking. The physical evidence itself is our first and honestly our most important clue. Now, through something called paleographic analysis, which is basically the study of old handwriting, experts have figured out something absolutely astonishing. The entire book, all 620 pages, was written and illustrated by a single person. And the handwriting is so incredibly uniform, it shows no signs of aging or changes in style. And get this, we even have a name, Hermanus Inclusus, which translates to Herman the Recluse. That name itself suggests a life of voluntary isolation, totally dedicated to this one monumental task. So here you have it, the two stories, side by side. The legend talks about one frantic, magical night. But the science? Well, the scientific analysis estimates that just writing the text, not even counting the illustrations, would have taken at least 20 years of non-stop work. This wasn't a desperate pact. This was a life's devotion. So, if it wasn't a book written for the devil, what is actually in it? Because the contents are just as surprising as its size. You might think it's full of dark spells and curses, but not really. Far from being some kind of evil textbook, the Codex Gigas was designed to be a whole library in a single volume. It's got the entire Latin Bible, major history books, a popular encyclopedia from the time, even medical texts. And yeah, okay, there are a few pages on magic and exorcism, but they're a tiny, tiny fraction of a book that was really meant to capture the sum of all medieval knowledge. All right, let's get to the main event, the part of the Codex that gave it that infamous nickname. Let's see how this image actually builds the real story. And there it is. This is the page, a startling, nearly 2-foot-tall picture of the devil, just dominating the entire page. In medieval art, this was so unusual. He's shown crouching in this empty, barren landscape, framed between two large towers. Now, none of this is random. Every single detail here is a symbol. That loincloth made of ermine, that's a sign of royalty, marking him as the Prince of Darkness. The claws and horns are pretty obvious, but check out the two tongues. That's a direct reference to deceit, the forked tongue of a liar. This wasn't just some scary picture, it was a very carefully constructed warning. But here's the thing. The legend always leaves out. The devil isn't alone. Directly opposite his portrait is another full-page illustration, a beautiful, orderly depiction of the heavenly city. This placement isn't an accident. It's a really powerful storytelling technique used all the time in the Middle Ages. By putting these two images literally face to face, the scribe is forcing the reader to stop and confront a choice. So when you see them together, the real message just clicks. This 2-page spread isn't a tribute to evil at all. It's a visual sermon. On one side, you have the empty, desolate world of sin. On the other, the vibrant, structured reward of a virtuous life. The scribe is presenting a stark choice to the reader. This or that. Damnation or salvation. You'd think with such a clear message, the myth would fade away, right? Nope. The book's incredibly dramatic history only added fuel to the fire of this legend of it being cursed. For centuries, the Codex Gigas had a truly turbulent journey across Europe. I mean, look at this timeline. The monastery that made it was too poor to even keep it. Then it was acquired by an emperor who was obsessed with the occult. Later, it was stolen as spoils of war and hauled off to Sweden. And then, in 1697, it only survived a catastrophic castle fire because someone literally hurled it out of a high window, a fall that seriously damaged it. It's had a rough life.
So after we strip away all that myth and that crazy history, what are we left with? What is the real wonder of the Codex Gigas?
We've really seen two competing narratives here, one of supernatural darkness and one of incredible human dedication.
The popular story is a great one, isn't it? It's a thrilling tale about a deal with the devil, a desperate monk, and a demonic miracle that happens in the blink of an eye. It's an awesome story.
But the reality, wow. The evidence tells a story that is so much more impressive. It's the story of one person, Herman the Recluse, dedicating his entire adult life. We're talking decades of unwavering focus to creating a single, perfect object of knowledge and faith. Just try to wrap your head around that. 20 to 30 years, the same hand day in and day out, ruling the lines, mixing the inks, forming every single letter with perfect consistency, creating these incredible illustrations. It's a feat of human endurance that is almost impossible for us to even comprehend today.
And I guess that's the ultimate question here. What's the real miracle? The truth of the Codex Gigas is so much more awe-inspiring than the legend. It isn't a monument to the devil's power. It is one of the greatest surviving monuments to human dedication, to skill, and to that relentless drive to create something that will last forever.